Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Mark Newsome. I go by the moniker of Mr. Marketing, and what I specialize in is helping small business owners and service providers who are mom and pop, non-franchise. I'm going to show you how to make at least 25% more gross profit in 90 days or less if you'll implement. And I'm also going to show you how to take what you considered previously dead or dramatically underused assets and resources and monetize them too.
Wow. Amazing. It's a pleasure having you on the show.
pleasure.
Mark, what was it like growing up?
I grew up in Oakland, California, man. California, beautiful weather, a lot of friends. I grew up in a single parent household. Then my mother remarried. I had a stepdad who gave me some stability, or otherwise I would have been running wild in the streets. But for the most part, man, I got to say, we weren't rich, but we started out living kind of poor, and then we moved into middle class. And for the most part, man, I had a fantastic childhood growing up. I really did.
Wow. Amazing. So, what was the earlier job before you started doing what you do?
What was what?
Your earlier job that you actually took on that teach you more about work ethic and generally entrepreneurship.
My goodness, man. My mom and my stepdad. The only time I ever remember my stepfather not getting up and going to work is when he was sick and he loved to fish, or if he decided he was taking off Friday and he was going fishing. Other than that, that man was on a job somewhere, and we lived well. He was a painting contractor, licensed, so he made good money. That guy had an incredible work ethic. I kid you not. He's passed on now, unfortunately, but he was a great influence on my life. Both he and my mom. My mom is still alive. We're still loving on each other, and it's I had a great upbringing. I didn't always live up to her. You got to excuse me. That was my knees doing that. But for the most part, man, I had a fabulous childhood. I wouldn't trade it for anything.
Wow, this is beautiful. Amazing. So what first got you interested in helping small business uncover hidden marketing opportunity?
Well, that's an excellent question. Ladies and gentlemen, I started out in a niche area of real estate investing known as paper. It's just a fancy way of saying debt. And the way it would work is somebody would put their house up on the market and their buyer couldn't qualify for traditional financing. So the owner would finance part of their equity by accepting a mortgage, or some parts of the country it's called a trust deed. But in other words, they would play the banker for some of the purchase, and companies, large institutions and private investors buy these things on the secondary market. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry in America and probably all over the world. Well, I got involved in being a bird dog, a commission-only rep that went out and found these things, negotiated a price, and they're like, say you're the investor, you would say, let's say you say, Mark, I'll pay $100,000. And because there's a lot of competition, I would come back to them and say $98,247.63. Sounded like it was calculated, right? And if they accepted it, I got that spread and you paid all the closing costs. And I was going along really good, man. I got to the point that I was being invited to workshops and to do talks and all this. And a good friend of mine named Bill, one day we're talking, and he said, Mark, listen to me, man. He said, I know you think this paper thing is the bomb. He said, but man, I'm telling you, there's a bazillion small business owners and service providers out here who could benefit from this marketing stuff you teach. And I never thought about that. It never dawned on me. And as I started to notice when I go into a local store, he was right. They really were not up to snuff at all. And so I sort of gradually transitioned to the point that I started calling myself Mr. Marketing, because my first name is Mark. And there's several guys out there that call themselves Mr. Marketing. But my point is, I said, you know what? This is a much bigger opportunity. I didn't know anything about the internet, hadn't come along yet. And when the internet came along, I said, yes, this is the spot.
Wow.
Been here ever since.
Amazing. So you often talk about previous debt aspect. What does it mean in simple terms?
Oh my goodness. Let me try to give you a couple simple examples. When I say a debt asset, like say, for example, you go into a store, you purchase something, and you leave. Now, it's not that you're a debt asset as the customer, but from the business standpoint, they don't see you anymore. They're looking for that next retail customer. What I try to show them is, no. The profit is in him, the person who just bought from you, because now they trust you. They know about you. They're going to tell friends, family, neighbors, co-workers, employees. They are far more valuable than you paying retail going after a new customer. Ladies and gentlemen, it costs you 500% more, right, on average, to acquire a new customer on or offline. The money is two things now. Follow this. The money is not only in your customer base, but in his customer base. And he and I do what's called a joint venture or collaboration. In fact, think about this. He and I are sitting here talking. Let's say, hey, you got a favorite place where you like to go get your mocha or your whatever you like to drink in terms of lattes or anything like that? Do you have a place like that you like to go?
Yes, I do.
Yes, I do. Okay, let's say he and I are sitting in that place, we're chopping it up, and he says, Mark, man, I really like some of your non-traditional marketing promotional strategies. Why don't you come on my podcast and share some of this with my audience? Ladies and gentlemen, do you see what just happened? He and I have gone from 1 to 1 to 1 to many. Yeah. That's called leverage. That's what you and I want. It's the same difference if you invest in $1 million property, but you only have to put up 20%, $200,000. You're still controlling that entire $1 million asset for only $200,000. Well, this is a one-time thing. He and I do this, and then we share it all over social media, right? We put it on LinkedIn. We put it on X, formerly known as Twitter. We put it on Facebook. We put it on Instagram. I make blog posts about it. He shares it. I share it with my email list. If he has an email list, he shares it with them. His audience comes and sees it. They like it. They share it. That's called leverage. That's what this whole marketing thing is about, ladies and gentlemen. Creating potentially bank account filling leverage for nickels and dimes on the dollar.
Wow, this is really profound. I think how you hook the message on leverage is very, especially from that store owner. Most of them are from the perspective, once they're done selling, they're done with that particular customer. In the way you reframe the story is that every customer will bring more customer, which is less expensive compared to getting new customer per time. And
pennies on the dollar. Pennies on the dollar, my friend. We'll show some more examples. In fact, let me just share one really simple one. Let's say he's a retail jeweler, and I'm his barber. He comes to me, once every month, and we chop it up about sports, women, politics, everything. And let's say he and I are on opposite sides of the political spectrum, so it makes it even more heated, right?
Yeah.
But it's all in fun. I mean, we're not enemies. But here's my point. One day he comes into my my shop, and let's say I got 5 stylists. And he says, Mark, let me show you something. He pulls up his phone, and he shows me this necklace that's $5,000. His hard cost is half, $2,500. He says, man, would that necklace look good on your neck? And I say, heck yeah. He said, I'll tell you what, if you join my opt-in email list, drag a friend to the store in the next 3 days, I'll give you that necklace for $2,500, and I'll even do better than that, because I've been cutting his hair for years. He said, Mark, I'll do you one better than that. I'll let you put up $1,000, and then you just pay me $500 a month till you pay it off. And I'm like, what? He says, you got to join my list. You got to drag a friend who's at least 18. No problem. So I do that. He gives me the necklace. I pay for it, and I start making payments. Now, think about what happens going forward. What do you think's going to happen when my customers come back into the shop and I'm rocking a $5,000 necklace?
Wow. It's good to.
You think anybody's going to say, hey, man, where'd you get that nice looking bling, right? You think my stylists are going to want to know? And their customers? Ladies and gentlemen, you see this leverage? Now, here's what he could do. He could go buy a local billboard. He could go in the local newspaper. He could go on primetime radio and TV and run an outrageously expensive 30 to 60-second ad. And I got to share something with you, ladies and gentlemen. He knows this, and I know this, and this is sad. But if I don't tell you this, I'm derelict in my duty. The time it takes for you and I to invest in this podcast episode, guess what? In his local area and in mine, somebody spent their hard-earned money on a 30 or 60-second ad, and neither one of us saw it. Now, you multiply that times a week, a year. You see how much? Whereas what he's doing with me is a one-time investment. And now everywhere I go, my neighbors, my coworkers, my siblings, my besties, they're all going to want to know what the deal is. Now he takes it a step further. He says, Mark, let me ask you a question. When you don't cut hair, how do you make money? I said, what do you mean? He says, when you don't have your shop open, how do you get paid? I said, I don't get paid. He said, how would you like to? I said, yeah, what do you have in mind? He pulls out this little card. It's two-sided. The first side says, dear friend, because you're a valued customer of Mark's Barber, enter my free drawing for a chance to win a $2,500. For the females, it's a diamond-studded necklace. For the gentlemen, it's a $2,500 Rolex. Now, both cost him half. Understand, he's not being giving away retail for retail. And notice what he's doing too, ladies and gentlemen, two things. A free drawing, and he's targeting men and women. So both think they have an equal chance, and he picks out two winners every month or every quarter, whatever it is. But here's my point. You flip it over, and it says, come to his store, and I have to write in a physical date of 3 days, 72 hours. Whatever the date is when I give them that card, before I give it to them, I write in a date that's 3 days out. Even if the third day is a holiday, it does not matter. So I write out 3 days, and it says referred by, and I print my name so he knows this lead comes from me. He says, Mark, every time one of those cards you pass out, they buy from me, the first 10, I'm going to give you $50. So that's $500. He says, but from the 11th on, and 11th customer on, I give you 100. What? He says, now think about it. When you're out and about and somebody asks you about this bling you got on, you sign one of them cards and give it to them. He says, now here's how you really make this thing rock, Mark. You figure out what is your ratio. And I said, well, what do you mean? He says, figure out for every 100, how many of these on average get redeemed. He says, now if you pass out 100 in a month, and we're just talking about the people who come into the shop, it's customer base. He says, and 20, I'm just going to be conservative. He said, and 20 of them become customers. And let's say now you're on the 11th and on. He said, that's 100 times 20. You just made $2,000 gross, Mark, on the side. Yeah. He said, now you multiply that by 12, that's $24,000 additional gross profit. You didn't cut any hair. Like, yeah. He said, I'm going to take it a step further, Mark. Every time you send me 30 customers in a month, I'll pay your commercial lease. What? That's right. Now, do you think some of my stylists will want in on this?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, would he rather do that or pay for ads? Think about it. And if he can do this with me, can he do it with the hair salon and the nail salon? In fact, can he create a contest and say every time? Oh, and here's the other thing he tells them. He says to the stylist, he says, every time, whoever has the most sales, not passed out cards, whoever generates the most customers for the week, when you guys, I'll pay for your booth rental for the week. Are we gonna hustle?
Yeah.
Right? This is marketing, ladies and gentlemen, promoting. Forget advertising. Let the big boys and girls waste money on advertising. You become a marketer and a promoter. You can do way better.
Wow. This is really key. I think I even have a lot of questions in respect of this. Going to these stories, a whole lot of them.
Absolutely. Now think about it. It could go both ways. I could approach him about this as the barber or the nail salon or the hair salon. It doesn't have to be him. I'm just using this example because more than likely they're not thinking this way. He can stimulate them and show them and say, listen, you got this customer. In fact, what he could do, take this a step further. Now, in case, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to say, well, Mark, where's this money come from? Instead of him wasting money on the advertisements and the billboards and all, he just takes that cash and he ethically bribes us to perform, just like pay-per-click. You don't pay until they click, right? He doesn't pay us for passing these things out. He pays us when somebody becomes a customer. Now, I was going to say he could take this a step further. And he could say, Mark, here's what I want you to do. The first 10 customers in a month, first 10 of yours and all your stylists, the first 10 who get a haircut and a shave, tell him it's on you, meaning on me, and he'll reimburse me my hard costs. So I'm not out anything. But what just happened? they're going to go back to their circle of influence. Oh, man, I went in here and I got a shave and got my hair cut, and it was free. What are you talking about? And when the people come in and ask, he said, yeah, it's just a random thing we do. The first 10 people in, we hook them up just to get some good word of mouth. I'm starting to look like a rock star to my local community. Every time somebody comes into my shop, there's a good chance they're going to know where I got this bling, and I'm going to end up giving them a card. So he's going to get a customer. And notice something. They're not going to just buy once. They're going to come back to him. They may have a bestie, a girlfriend, a wife, a daughter, a sister, a brother who wants some bling. You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now, he won't hook them up as well as he hooked us up, but he's still going to give them a discount if they'll drag a friend with them who's at least 18. And as long as the friend joins their email list before they leave his store, he'll ethically bribe them to do so. In other words, just for coming to the store, he may say 10% off. Up to $100. That's not super exciting. Some people might go for it because they don't want to bring somebody, and that's perfectly fine. But when he says 40% off up to $2,000 just for joining my list before you leave the store, that's interesting, right?
Yeah.
There you go. That's how you market and promote people.
Wow, this is really interesting. I think with this particular leverage, make it easier to compete with bigger company with bigger budget.
Exactly.
Owing to the promotion, into the referrals, which you can actually trace compared to most times when it comes to ads, you can't trust it. And the amount of impression you get that lead to click is not that much compared to what you later got at the later rate. This is really
and
profound.
So what? They clicked. Big deal. You're not there as a human, to pull them over the line. They look at something, a couple seconds, and they're gone. And that money comes out of your account. And let's be honest, ladies and gentlemen, when you pay for advertising, the moment you and I stop paying, guess what?
It stopped.
They cut our hands off.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to do anything else with me. He gave me this bling it cost. I'm going to yap it up from now on. You better believe I am. He doesn't have to pay anymore. He only pays when I perform. So let's say I only pass out 10 of these a month. And one. So I get 1 out of 10. I get my $50, and when I get to 10, I make 100. Do you not realize that everybody you know and I know knows at least 25 local people?
So true.
You do the math on this, people. You could create an army of local affiliates, and trust, for a fact, some of those women are going to jump on social media, taking selfies, rocking their earrings, their bracelet, and their bling. They're going to go to weddings. They're going to go to bar mitzvahs. They're going to go to social events. And somebody's going to want to know where they got this bling. We haven't even scratched the surface, people. Trust me when I tell you, there's more opportunity out here than you can shake a stick at. That's a fact.
Thank you so much, Mark. So, in your experience, what is the biggest mistake small business makes when trying to grow?
Oh, man. How much time do we have, buddy? No. Here's one, in my opinion, because I did this in the beginning. Let's just be honest, our egos get involved. Ladies and gentlemen, you and I can't do everything. We can't. I don't care how brilliant you think you are. You need leverage. So you need partners. Non-directly competing partners. For instance, think about this now. I'm using him as the jeweler. Guess what he has? He's got employees. Do they know people? He's got vendors. Do they have employees? Do the employees know people?
Yeah.
And that vendor's got customers. Now look at that. When the postman comes in, or postwoman, especially a female postal carrier, he hooks her up with some bling at cost. She goes back to the office, and what all the other females want to know, where she got that bling. Now she goes back to her sister, her aunt, if her mom is still alive, her daughter. You look at all this word, I like to call it word of mouth, and Seth Godin says word of mouse. It'll be huge. And again, he's spending a fraction of the cost, not wasting his time running after clicks. And ladies and gentlemen, let me say this now. I don't want to be misunderstood. To scale, you're going to need paid advertisement. But the point is, you could build up to that. And then you could start crushing it. And you don't have to worry that if you'd like to hear something else, let's be honest. I mean, I'm jumping the gun here, but let me share something. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're only rocking social media, your Titanic is headed for an iceberg. What do you mean, Mark? You could wake up tomorrow. Your 500,000 followers on Instagram, 500,000 followers on Twitter, X, your 500,000 followers on LinkedIn, your 500,000 followers on TikTok, gone, wiped out. Your account got shut down for whatever reason. Who knows? And it could take you days, weeks, months, if ever, before you get it back. Now, if you're only on social media, what is that going to do to your business? You're all right? You've heard, ladies and gentlemen, I've been on these webinars with these 6- and 7-figure earners who admitted their Facebook account got shut down. Their LinkedIn account got shut down. Their TikTok account got shut down. This stuff happens all the time. On the other hand, if you had your own opt-in email list and that happened, it wouldn't be the greatest thing, but you could still reach out directly to your audience. You could even make fun and say, hey, I'm having a special sale. They shut my account down, and until I get it back up, X% off.
So true,
right?
So true. Yeah.
So the point is, get your own opt-in email list. I don't care. You say, people say, email is dead. My friend, email is many things. I'm going to share, if we have time at the end of this, I'm going to share a powerful email strategy for you and show you how it's mind-boggling how potentially profitable strategic email marketing could be. But the point I'd like to say this, I love saying this. Social media marketing is like sleeping on your ex-in-law's couch. You never know when they're going to come home and say, hey, I love you, but you got to go, right? Where's that going to leave you? You're going to be homeless. So don't rely. And I hate saying this because I don't want to sound biased, but the millennials are notorious for only building on social media. I have my own self-hosted, WordPress blog. So if at the end of this, he was to go back and listen to it and say, this was pretty good, but I don't think it's right for my audience. As much as I don't want that to be the outcome, I still have my own self-hosted WordPress blog.
Wow, this is really amazing. The approach, everything. Because at the end of the day, you got to discover that a whole lot of conversion most times come from words of mouth. And because you don't have to do much, because trust is being built in the process, and trust is very, very integral when it comes to people are buying and reaching out. And words of mouth make it easier to reaffirm the confidence, the trust, and everything. Because most times you wouldn't have to do much in closing the deal.
Exactly.
Compared to what?
Think about what you're saying. Let's say I have this certificate to go save some money. I text him, hey man, you coming with me? He's like, what are you talking about? I got to go over the state. If you come, if I bring somebody who's at least 18, I'm going to save them. He says, okay. Now you think about how many ads you have to run before that customer even knows who we are and before they do what we want them to do. They call that touches. They say, I don't know what the numbers you've heard, but they say it's somewhere between 7, a minimum, 21. Now, depending on how much you pay per ad, you want to do that each time to get a new customer, or would you rather do something like, what are you talking about? You already got the trust. You've already got the positive word of mouth. You got to leverage that, ladies and gentlemen, to the hilt. That's how, in fact, can I share with your audience 8 of the most powerful words in sales and marketing? Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay. Follow this, ladies and gentlemen. You drive into an iconic worldwide fast food restaurant chain, and you say, either you walk in or you drive through, you say, can I have the strawberry shake and the quarter pounder with cheese? And they come back with this. Would you like fries with that? Bam! 10 to 40% of their worldwide customer base daily says yes. We call that a bump or an upsell, add-on sale. Doesn't matter what you call it. Use it. And please, ladies and gentlemen, don't disappoint us. Please do not say, Mark, I don't sell hamburgers. Because otherwise that's telling me this concept is going over your head. So follow this now. I said the 8 most powerful words. Would you like fries with that? That's only 6 words, Mark. That's right. Even though I graduated from public school, my math is not that bad. Now follow this. When that 10 to 40% of the people worldwide on a daily basis says yes, this iconic fast food restaurant that we're speaking of, they come back with 2 more simple words. Supersize you. Bam! Another 10 to 40% say yes. And did you notice something, ladies and gentlemen? They didn't discount anything. Usually when you do an upsell or a bump, we offer you a discount, right? It's some digital product that normally sold for $497. You can have it for $97 or something. Or it's normally $97. You can have it for $37. They're not discounting anything. That's why the executives of McDonald's, they tend to live in the biggest houses. Notice S, houses, plural. They drive the nicest cars, S, plural, and their kids and grandkids attend and graduate some of the most prestigious universities on the planet. Those 8 words. Now, let me show you something. Let's say he sends something out, mail order. He's got a mail order division of his company. You know what he should be doing if he isn't already doing it? He should have an extremely time-sensitive offer, what I call market-tested offer, that he offers those customers. So when they open that box and get their order, here, just like when you purchase from Amazon, they say, hey, if you like that, you might like this. That's an upsell. He's saying, would you like fries with that when he puts that offer in there? Now, if you're thinking, well, okay, Mark, that makes sense, but I don't have anything else. That's why you need joint venture partners, because he could come to me and say, hey, Mark, how much you spending to get a new customer? And I tell him, he says, how would you like to cut that in half or 75%? I'm like, yeah. He says, you give me a market-tested offer, a coupon, I'll stick it in here. On that first sale, whatever you sell, Mark, you give me 25%. You keep the 75% after we pay for costs. In other words, we put it above cost. He says, but then notice something, Mark. Every sale they're on, you keep 100%. You keep the referrals. You keep the testimonials. You keep the repeat business. And I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. Now, if he does that with me, could he offer 2 more offers in there of non-directly competing offers? I mean, you don't want to do overkill, but he could put 2 or 3 offers in there. And then he could tell us, whoever gets the most, I'll give you an exclusive, right? Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, this is how you grow exponentially for pennies on the dollar. This is how it's done. In fact, if you'll take your marketing blinders off going forward, you're going to see this kind of stuff being done and you didn't even realize. Like, for instance, you get your credit card bill, you open it up, there's an offer in there. Bam! Why do you think that is? They get it. They get it. There's money to be made all over the place, ladies and gentlemen. Joint ventures, strategic alliances, partnerships, collaboration, whatever your term is, it floats your boat. Wow. You should be doing these. And I'll say this. If after all we share with you, you still don't get it, are you gonna share my blog address?
Yeah, I will add it to the show notes. I will add it to the show notes.
Okay, I'll make sure he gets my blog address. Head on over to my blog, ladies and gentlemen. YouCanMarketOnlineNow.com. All one word, UYOU CanMarketOnlineNow.com. Hit the contact page on my blog in the main menu, and just send me a little short email, and we'll get on a 30-minute what I call brainstorming session. And it's not to sell. I am open for business. I'm looking for customers all the time, but it's to really try and show you that you're sitting on a potential untapped gold mine.
Wow, amazing. I think it's the fact that this magic question you just gave shows volume to the whole lot of hanging fruit on every business that needs to be plucked. But owing to is not engaged, right? We could actually let me start with it.
He just mentioned something. I don't know if you caught that. There's something called the magic question. And if it's okay, matter of fact, I'm going to try it out on him right now. He has no idea. I promise you this is not rehearsed. I'm going to try the magic question on him, and we're going to see if this Mr. Marketing guy has the goods or not. So here we go. Is it okay if I periodically refer you new business and customers? Ladies and gentlemen, you heard that. Now, by the same token, as long as it doesn't take away from anything you're currently doing or will have going on in the not-so-distant future, are you okay with occasionally, periodically returning the favor? Ladies and gentlemen, you heard his words. Now, let me translate. What he is saying is, Mark, and whoever, now, never ask the magic question of a stranger. This is people you already have established. In other words, you don't hear this and tomorrow go out and walk into some business you've never done business with before and say, hey, is it okay to refer a question? No. This is with established relations, your vendors. You start out your suppliers, these kind of people. But here's the point. Let me share you the point of this. What he's really saying is, Mark, not only do you get access to the network and the contacts I built up right now, but the ones tomorrow, next week, next month, next year that are 10 times better, you get access to that too. You see how the magic question potentially opens the door of previously untapped opportunity wide open? And if by some odd chance somebody says no, just move on. There are plenty out there who are going to say yes. And that's who you do business with in part.
Wow. Amazing. Thank you so much, Mark.
Thank you so much, Mark.
So
my pleasure.
You have shared strategy for marketing during reception. What is the approach that always work even in tough time?
Well, we just, number one, the upsell, the bump. Would you like fries with that? But here's something else. Let's try this. Let me show you something. This is powerful. It's really, really powerful. Now we're going to switch hats. You were a jeweler. Now we're going to say you're a independently owned mom and pop local bakery. You got one location. You're thinking about opening a second one, but maybe not. But follow this. Let's say I'm the retail appliance center. We're in a mini strip mall, same mall. It's 5 units. He's in unit 1. I'm in unit 5. There's somebody in unit 2 and 3, and unit 4 is empty. It's been vacant for a while. Recession and COVID and all that stuff. So I come in every Monday to get a gallon of coffee and cocoa during the winter and iced tea and lemonade during the summer. And I get some pastries and donuts and all that. And then I chop it up about sports and women and politics and all this stuff. And one day I come in and I say, hey, man, is it okay if I refer you new business and customers? The magic question. He says, yeah. He said, what do you got in mind? I said, listen, you know that drink you sell in that big plastic cup called the Big Gulp? He said, yeah, that's one of my best sellers, man. He said, I say to him, what if you did this? The first time they come in, they pay your retail price, whatever it is, so you can keep the lights on, pay the employee, pay your taxes, pay your lease. He says, yeah. I said, no, but here's what you do. From now on, when they bring the cup back, you only charge $3.99. He says, oh, I get it. Because I lower that front end cost. Now, he still pays for the cost of the coffee and the cup and all, but that $3.99 is going to make me go there instead of Dunkin' Donuts or Starbucks. And when I'm in there, do you think I'm going to still buy the pastries and the donuts and the bagels with cream cheese? You better believe it. But what else am I going to do? I'm going to take this cup back to work. I'm going to sit it on my desk. What do you think some of my coworkers are going to want to know? What's that? What's up with the big? Oh, it's called the Big Gulp. This guy down here, the bakery. Yeah, the first time you come in, you pay retail, $11.99, whatever it is. But when you bring this cup back, you only pay $3.99, $2.99, $1.99, whatever works to keep people coming back like crazy. And they're like, yeah, go check. And here's the other thing, ladies and gentlemen. He only sells the Big Gulp, and he only sells the best gourmet coffee. So he goes and finds the best tasting gourmet coffee. And by the way, when I say bring a cup back, they don't have to buy coffee. It's whatever extra large beverage of their choice. If it's summertime and they want to get lemonade or they want to get iced tea, whatever they want, cocoa during the winter, they bring that cup. They pay this small amount. Now, because he's starting to become a brilliant marketer, here's what he does. Everybody he knows in that strip mall, business-wise, and within like a 5-10 block radius, he goes in there and says, hey, listen, I got this new promotion I'm doing. And he brings a cup with him. It's called a Big Gulp. And he's like, oh, yeah, I've been in there. And he says, here, you tell me how many, you call me and let me know how many of your employees would want this cup. And you can come in and pick it up. And instead of them paying retail the first time, they cut right to the chase and just pay the $3.99 every time from now on. What? They're coming back more often, my friend, and they're going to jump on social media. Trust me. They're going to take pictures of their Big Gulp, and they're going to talk it up. He does this with all his vendors. He tells his vendors to let their vendors know, and their employees, and their customers through email. Yeah. Think about it.
Yeah, so true. I think with these words of mouth and the fact that the customers are happy and they go ahead posting about it, just making their normal gesture, I think it's definitely going to spur people being curious about what is this business all about. Let me check them out. What are they doing?
And he could have a birthday club and on and on. Man, like I said, if we had time, ladies and gentlemen, we could just blow your mind. But that's how you turn a one-time sale into a long-term repeat customer gold mine for pennies on the dollar. Now, let me show you something else that I would do with him. I'm the retail appliance center, and I'm trying to get the word out. When he gets a call, his business gets a call, and they want a birthday cake. I say, every time the cake is over $75, I say $60, I want you to put this envelope that I'm going to give him, is sealed, but get this. This is what it says on the outside. Now, you tell me what would happen. Somebody orders a cake. It's over $60. They're going to get this sealed envelope, and this is what the outside of the envelope says. In quotation mark, in big giant letters, red letters. You, Y-O-U, definitely deserve this exclamation point. Ladies and gentlemen, how long is it going to take for them to rip that envelope open? Not long, right? Not long. Now, what's going to be inside? Some of my extremely time-sensitive gift certificates that say, A, side A, join my list, enter my free drawing for a chance to win a $5,000 deluxe home entertainment system. And remember, it only costs me half, but it retails for $5,000. So I'm spending $2,500. That's the first thing. The second thing is he doesn't tell the customer this, but when they come in to pick it up, he winks and says, this one's on us. Now, in reality, I'm going to reimburse him his hard cost. And that's why I'm limited to 10, or I can limit it to 20. Now, there's another concept that I haven't covered, but you got to really get this. When you get off of here, go to Google, go to YouTube, and put in what is total lifetime customer value. Watch a video or two, read a blog post or two. You had a basic concept down. Because I know what my customers are worth to me over time, I'm willing to reimburse him the hard cost of that cake over $60. He's not out anything, but what do you think the people who get the cake for free are going to do when they get back to their crew? You know what they're going to do. They're going to yap it up. They're going to yap it up. And meanwhile, I'm picking up, like I tell him to ask the customer, how many people do you think will be attending this event? And that's how many discount coupons I put in that envelope. We're both going to make out, ladies and gentlemen. Follow me? Salute. Salute.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you, Mark. I think the analogy and the stories just speak volumes on how this thing could actually be applied, not just as a principle, but what's underneath and what results you could actually get.
Exactly. If it's okay, my friend, because I'm looking at my list, I want to make sure I do not leave anything out, ladies and gentlemen. I want you to come on here and really try it and hit it out of the park. Let me share something with you. I'm going to share an email strategy with you. And if this doesn't impress you, I'm going to be deeply disappointed. But it's my fault if this doesn't impress you. I want you to know it's on me. Follow this. There is a very famous, there's a very famous female entertainer. She's a mega influencer, and she has a group of followers called the Swifties. Does everybody know who I'm talking about? Her first name is Taylor something.
Yeah.
And there's another young lady by the name of Beyonce. Let's say, now follow this. Both of these ladies go on a world tour. Go all over the world. Let's say it takes them 2 years going on their world tour. They're playing stadiums between 20,000 and 100,000 every night they're on the stage. Now, follow this. The promoter tells them, the MC comes out at intermission, hypes up the crowd. Hey, how y'all doing? Y'all having a good time? Look at the Jumbotron. They flash the Jumbotron. There's a pimped out SUV that sells for $120,000. He said, ladies and gentlemen, you see that website down there? Whatever it is, go to that website. You must be 18 to enter. Enter that drawing, and one male and one female are going to win one of these every show. Now, let's say when they come back from their world tour, they have, after 2 million people unsubscribe, both of them still have 10 million subscribers. Now, follow this. Netflix or Hulu, they approach their Taylor's or Beyonce's marketing people approach Netflix and Hulu. And here's what they tell them. How would you like to get millions of new customers what I happen to advertise up front for them. And they're like, what? What'd you say? Yeah. Says, here's what we're going to do. Whatever the current rate, your monthly rate is of your service right now, I want you to roll back the prices to $10 a month. And they're like, okay. Why would we do this? Say, now, you're going to give them a 3-year, 36-month subscription at that cost, $10 a month, regardless of what your current customers are paying. It's a special promotion through us. Now she says, now follow this. At the end of 3 years, 36 months, at 37th month and on, if they want to keep it, they pay whatever the current retail price is. And they're like, okay, we like that. Now, get this. She says, now, you're going to make $7 per subscriber, new subscriber, because it's for new subscribers only. And they say, wait a minute, okay, that's cool, but you said $10. She says, yeah. They said, well, what happens to the other $3 a month? And she winks and says, it'll be going in my bank account. They're like, so let's say 5 million people, take both of them up on it. They make $3 per subscriber for 36 months. Now, at the end of, let's say the 35th month, right before this thing's about to be up, both Taylor and Beyonce do a special 20-minute video behind the scenes look at their new CD coming out and their new videos, and they're sitting in the studio. And they both say, ladies and gentlemen, I want to share something with you. In the last 34 months, I have grossed $82 million. I didn't go on tour. I didn't sell any merchandise. And I didn't put out a new CD, which in 3 years they probably had. But here's the point. They say, I want to point to you the gentleman that made it possible. And they point the camera, and yours truly is sitting there. They say, ladies and gentlemen, meet Mark Newsome, Mr. Am I going to get some phone calls?
Definitely.
Am I going to do some business?
Yeah.
In fact, both of them say, Mark, here's what we're going to do. We're grossing $3 a subscriber. We're only going to do $2.50. I'm going to give you 50 cents a month per millions of subscribers. Am I happy? Yeah. And in fact, take it a step further, Beyonce and Taylor, not them directly, but their representatives, tell Netflix and Hulu, listen, if you agree to this deal in the next 24 hours, I will personally introduce you to at least 3 other mega influencers that you can at least make this offer with. And when you do it, same deal, you take 70% of $10. They'll get 20%, which means they get $2, and you give me that $1.
Wow.
You follow me, right? Now, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to understand what's going on here. They're sending an email to their subscribers. This ain't fancy. And we're just scratching the surface. Hulu and Netflix is smart enough to realize, hey, the valuation of our company just went up by tens of millions of dollars, if not hundreds of millions, because we've got new subscribers. And remember, a certain percentage of them, once that 36-month grace period is over, or whatever it is, 24 months, a certain percentage of those people are going to stay on at the full rate. That's just like McDonald's saying, would you like fries with that? They don't get everybody, but they get 10 to 40% of their daily foot traffic and drive-through to say yes, and a certain percentage of them say yes to the supersize you. So after that 36-month period, rest assured, some of those people are going to stay on at the full rate. That's how much money could be available to you and I through simply using email.
Wow, this is really amazing.
So I hope that puts an end to the discussion about email is dead. I beg to differ.
Yeah, so true, so true. I think the frequency just gave shows that there's a whole lot that could actually be making compared to
a whole lot. In fact, ladies and gentlemen, would I be willing to do this with a company for free if they have a large enough audience that they say, Mark, we'll promote you like crazy. You come on once a week, once a month, just share some of these marketing strategies, take questions, and we'll pay you a set fee every month just to educate our audience. Yeah, I'd be more than happy to do it and record it. You let me have the recording. You do what you want with yours. I'll do what I want with mine. Ladies and gentlemen, let me say this, and I don't mean to be, this gentleman has been kind enough to have me on his show, and I'm not trying to insult anybody, But if you honestly tell me after all this time listening to us, you can't come up with 3 original ideas, I'm not your guy. Okay? I'm not your guy.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mark.
Thank you so much.
So, what is one misconception? One misconception about marketing that you wish more people understood?
Ladies and gentlemen, there really isn't a challenge. The challenge is up here. We got to free that. In fact, let me share you a story because I know our time is getting short, but this is a powerful story. Listen to this. 2 gentlemen are driving across the desert on one of the hottest days of the year. They have no air conditioning. The guy on the passenger side rolls down the window and in frustration, he looks out and he says, "Man, look at all that cactus." The driver smiles. You know why? He saw Las Vegas. You say, okay, what's the point of that story, Mark? Sometimes, without the right vision, it's impossible to see opportunity even when it's right in front of you. So to answer his question directly, you're not seeing the possibilities. In fact, ladies and gentlemen, all he and I shared with you right now in this short time was 8 plus 2. There's 7 plus 3. There's 9 plus 1. There's 6 plus 4. There's 5 plus 5. There's 20 divided by 2. There's 100 minus 90. We haven't scratched the surface of what's possible for you and I. But you got to get the right marketing mindset and vision. And if you'll do that 6 months, a year from now, 5 years from now, you are going to be rocking it because you'll have the right mindset.
Yeah, I think this is really profound. I think before now, when it comes to marketing, I usually feel guilty that if I'm good at what I do, do I need to market? It was when I started reading Seth Godin's book that actually changed my perspective on what market is. It's more like an extension of you are good at what you do, and you don't want them to fall victim of those who are not good at it, owing to the shoes up and they make the loudest noise, and you are not showing up. Despite you have the biggest product. And it was really another way of actually saying it, because with the right vision, just the right vision, a whole lot of possibility of what you could do with what you do. The margin is unmatchless. There's a whole lot of.
It really is endless, ladies and gentlemen. We're not talking this super positive thinking stuff. If you look around, because here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen, let me just share this. Let's say he's the guru of whatever the subject is. He's up at the top of the mountain. He's made it. Now, I'm one of his students. I'm coming up the hill. I'm only 25% up the hill. I got 75% to go. And he's waving me on, "Come on, Mark, encourage me. You can do it, man. Come on." And I'm looking at him, I'm saying, wow, I still got 75% to go. But when I look behind me, guess what? There are men and women at the bottom of that mountain, and they're saying to me, "Hey, how did you get there?" That's my audience. So wherever you are in your business or service, there's people ahead of you. And there's people behind you. Look to the people behind you and partner with them and start making money. I was told by a famous financial expert who's passed on, he said, "Ladies and gentlemen, you can make money or excuses, but you can't do both. So you decide, what's it going to be?"
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, so Mark, when you look at your years of helping business grow, what is the most rewarding part of your work?
When somebody tells me they made it to the next level and I had a small part to play in, it doesn't get any better than that. It really doesn't, ladies and gentlemen. That is the best feeling. Because in a small way, you've helped them develop a different mindset. And that mindset is going to play out and compound on down the road in ways you and I can't. Just like AI. In 5 years from now, a year from now, AI is going to be different, right? Look how incredible it is right now. We haven't scratched the surface with AI possibilities yet, ladies and gentlemen. We're just getting started.
And also, what is going to be your final ways to entrepreneurs out there who are still afraid of marketing, who still have these owing to how they grow, they still have some bias of what market is and how they should put themselves out there. How could they actually develop the mindset? Seeing the big picture of what they could do differently with market.
Well, you just He hit it on the head. He said, seeing the big picture. I'm going to say this, ladies and gentlemen. Do yourself a favor. If you can't see it, hook up with somebody who can, ethically bribe them and have them share some of the profits with you until you see it. You follow what I'm saying? If you're saying, well, I don't know, you say, okay, let me put it together for you. We'll pay for it. After cost, we'll split 70, meaning 70 for them, 30 for you. And then when you say, okay, I get it, then we'll do 50-50. Get out of your own way, man. Opportunities out. You better grab it before your competitors do.
This is really amazing. Yeah, thank you so much, Mark. So, Mark, how can my audience learn more from you, do business with you, and which platform can they reach out to?
Ladies and gentlemen, I am on LinkedIn. www.linkedin.com/IN/ this is all one word now. LinkedIn /IN/ ask ASK Mark MARK, my last name Newsome NEWSOME. That's my LinkedIn address. Come check me out. Let's get connected. Let's start sharing and following each other. And if you want a ton more ideas than you know what to do with, go to my blog, my self-hosted WordPress blog. You can market online now.com. I will make sure I send him an email so he has it. It's all one word, and it's YOU, not you, the letter U. You can market online now.com. That'll get you to my blog. There's a ton of concepts and strategies and everything in there. And if you want to do a free 30-minute brainstorm, but ladies and gentlemen, I got to be honest with you now. I'm open for business. I'm looking for customers. Now, there's no pressure, but I'm looking to get you as a client, not a one-time customer, a one and done, a long-term repeat customer, client, because we'll make some money.
Amazing. Thank you, Mark. Mark, this conversation has been eye-opening. You have shown that smart strategy always beats big spending, and creativity is a serious currency in business growth. To our listener, make sure you check out Mark's blog at You Can Market Online Now.
Now, don't forget the now. Okay. I will send him an email so he'll have it, and he can make sure he put it in the notes.
Thank you.
This has been my honor and pleasure, man. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you. For practical low marketing ideas you can start using today. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep building something remarkable with your hands and your mind. It's really a pleasure having you on the show.